Israelite brothers and sisters, 12 tribes of Israel scattered all over the earth. Welcome back. This is your Moray, Dr. Yeshu. And I just want to take this moment to say thank you. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Thank you for your likes, your comments, and thank you for all the support that you give to this ministry, to this channel, the journey back to Abaya. We are in the book of Psalms, Tehillim, okay, and we are in chapter 34, and we're going to stop for a moment, and we almost complete chapter 34, Psalm 34, and we're going to be doing Psalm 35 at the end of, we still have a couple more verses to do in 34, but it been pressed on my mind and my heart over the last couple of weeks, to revisit two of the major religions that we have dealt with on the Shabbats, and that was Judaism and Christianity. My brothers and my sisters, I do not promise that what I'm going to say will solve the problem, because this problem of understanding, these two different religions have been going on for years, okay? Many, many years, almost 2,000 years, this misunderstanding as far as Christianity is concerned. And with Judaism, it goes back a couple, probably 2,400 years, of Judaism. So Judaism started before Christianity. And the problem that we have in helping people, especially our people, the Hebrew Israelite people, both the awakened and the unawakened ones, to understand that these religions were man-made. Okay. To many of the present day Jewish people and those who trying to be Jews, they believe that Judaism started way back in the beginning of time, way back in Genesis. They want to say Abraham was the first Jew. I do not want to burst your bubble, but Abraham was not a Jew. Abraham was not the founder of Judaism. Abraham was called from Ur of the Chaldea, and he was called to leave a pagan religion. Mark you, Abraham came through our great ancestor. He came through Shem. Okay? All right. That's where we came from. Don't let the world fool you. All dark-skinned people, all people of color, did not come from Ham. If you want a proof of that, I want you to go to Genesis chapter 10, and you read the first 4 or 5 verses of Genesis chapter 10, and it will tell you who we are. It mentions Shem, the children of Ham. The children of Noah. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And it will show you there that from Japheth, which is in the Hebrew Japhet, it will show you that it was through his son, through Gomer, and other children of there where the Gentiles came from. They were the eyes of the Gentiles. Many of us, and for many years, hundreds of years, been made to believe that we were Gentiles. And my brothers and sisters, you do some study. Don't take my word for it. You back it up with some studies and you will see. Okay? But the problem is that we who came through Abraham, Abraham, in the Hebrew, okay? We who came through him have believed for many, many, many years. We've been taught that we were Gentiles, we were dogs and sorcerers. And our people over the years have been trying to be just like the Gentiles. We pick up on their practices, their habits, their likes. And we feel good when we're doing what they did and what they do. You know, the scripture tells us that, you know, we were warned as his children not to follow the ways of the Gentiles. This is what got us in trouble in the first place. We can go back. Go back to the wilderness journey, my brothers and my sisters, as our people came out from Egypt. You remember how the story, how they went on into Egypt because of the famine and stayed there? The king of Egypt, he liked Joseph so much that he wanted Joseph to bring. Remember, Joseph was sold into slavery by his own cousins. He wanted them. He loved Joseph so much that he wanted Joseph to bring his family down into Egypt. His family went on to Egypt. They were assigned an area, a province, and they stayed there and they grew and they multiplied until a new king, a new Pharaoh came, which was from the Arawite people. And it came, was Aramaic, one of those group of people that came down there to be king, and they did not like the way the Hebrew people were prospering. And they made slaves out of them. It was through that moment that Yahuwah raised up Moses, who was born in Egypt and became a prince, according to this story. Right? And raised him up. He left Egypt and went into the land of Midian. Found a wife, married and started raising children, and Yahuwah brought him back to Egypt to lead the people out of Egypt. And you know the story, how they went into the promised land. And while they were in the land and they saw all that was going on, around them. The Gentiles, they have kings and leaders, and all they had in their mind was Samuel, the prophet. And they wanted kings just like the other nations. So our ancestors, they've been following the habits, the likes, and and the practices of other people, while They were not satisfied. We are people, my brothers and sisters, we're hard to satisfy. We just don't listen. And Yahuwah had proven himself to us. He called us as his special people. But my brothers and my sisters, we don't seem to want to listen. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of giving you one big hump or one big chunk, one big piece, I'm gonna break it down in little pieces over several sessions, and hoping that you can take it increments by increment. You can understand a little, because we're still not understanding the concept of Judaism, and we're not understanding the concept of Christianity. Because for the Christian part, we don't get there yet, but for the Christian part, they believe that Jesus was from Moses' time. Christianity was from Moses' time. As a matter of fact, I heard a preacher was preaching, and he said, at the burning bush, that's where Christianity started. When Moses, saw the bush burning and was not consumed, they said that's right. That's where Christianity started. My brothers and my sisters, do not listen to those lies. Understand, read the scripture and understand. Understand. Okay? Read the scripture and understand. We listen to everything people said, but we don't have a foundation. We don't have a real understanding. Do you know why I get caught into Christianity? At first? Because I did exactly what our ancestors were doing. Look over there, they saw something going on, and they said, man, that must be good. And we saw my friends and everybody in Christianity say, I'm missing something from what my parents believe. And decided to go over. I don't know why my mom and my dad, why they allow me to, at 11 years old, 11, 12, between 11 and 13, to make my choice. Say, I want to choose Christianity over what I've been taught. And my brothers and my sisters, I stayed in it for a long time. I was schooled in it. I preached in it. I was ordained in it. Even though I have my belief, I was still struggling to come to grip with Christianity and its concept. Even though I was teaching it, I was telling people about it, I was, doing evangelism about it, I was teaching, training Sunday school workers about it, I preached, I taught in the seminary about it, my brothers and my sisters. Yet, there was something in the back of my mind, something there that I said, no, that is not complete. It's not complete. And I was not satisfied. My brothers and my sisters, I was not satisfied until I come to grips with the truth. Okay, so when we talk about Judaism, no, listen, I am not against anybody who practices Judaism. I want to let you know that. I'm just saying that people are fooled and people believe a concept that is man-made. Judaism is man-made. Christianity is man-made. Okay? And I'm going to prove to you there's nowhere in the Torah, no scripture in the Torah that taught Judaism. No scripture in the Torah that taught Christianity. No scripture that taught any religion. The only thing it taught was a relationship with Yahuwah, our Elohim. A relationship. And even the Gentile people amidst their religion, if they come into a relationship with Yahuwah, they must change their hearts and their minds to serve Yahuwah, the true and living Yahuwah, the only one. He said, "Hear, O Israel, Shama, Yisrael, Eloheinu, Echad." He is one. Shama Yisrael, Eloheinu, Echad. He is one. We must hear, we must listen, we must come to the place, my brothers and my sisters, where we acknowledge him as one. Okay, so Judaism, my brothers and my sisters, Judaism have its belief. Let me say, Judaism have its belief way back in the Bronze Age. The origins of Judaism, it lies in the Bronze Age amidst polytheistic, ancient Semitic religions, specifically involving out of the polytheistic ancient Canaanite religion, then coexisting with the Babylonian religion and synchronizing elements of Babylonian beliefs into worship of Yahweh or Yahuwah, and reflected in the early prophetic books of the Hebrew Bible. So, my brothers and sisters, I want us to see that. I want us to understand that. Okay. There was one Yahuwah, one Elohim. Right? And so when the people, in the Bronze Age, when the people of Israel, when they were taken, the Hebrew Israelite people, when they were taken into Babylon, no, we got to understand this. There were two different captivities. The first captivity was from the northern kingdom. If you understand the story about how Israel became two kingdoms, after Solomon's death, his son Rehoboam became king and decided that he was not going to follow the advice of the leaders, the elders, and listen to his friends, and decided that he was going to treat the people harshly, and the people rebelled. And then here was a man, Jeroboam, who was isolated down into Egypt because there was a problem between him and Solomon. And here, when Solomon died, and the elder said, "If you're not going to listen to us, we're going to get Jeroboam to come back." So he came. He came and they made him king over the northern kingdom. At first, 10 tribes had gone north, leaving 2 tribes south. Samaria was the capital of the north. Jerusalem was the capital of the south. And then, later on, it is understood that Simeon, I think, went back, not Simeon, anyway, one of the other tribes went back down there. There's a conflict that there. Simeon might have been one of the tribes that went back down south. And, a matter of fact, Benjamin had gone south. Gone north, and they changed their mind and they came back. So anyway, so to date, some people believe that there are 3 tribes that stayed in the south and 9 tribes to the north. However, not most of the northern people that they were taken, I would say probably 2/3. The people that were left in the north were the people that were poor and somewhat illiterate, did not have a trade, because the people wanted the Assyrian people and leadership. They wanted people who could help to build the kingdom. They want people with trade and knowledge. They want doctors. They want tradesmen. And they took all the well-trained people, the well-learned people. They took them and left the more illiterate ones to take care of the vineyards. Then send their people to come over to supervise them. And the people that came over to supervise them, after a while, they started even taking on the role of the priests, offering sacrifices and things. They were not called, they were not of the tribe of Levi, but they came in and they were taking on, and they kind of intermingled and married, raped the women and of Israel, of the northern kingdom, and started mixing with them, and to the point where the people's culture was intermingled with outside culture. And then there, many of those foreigners that came in, a matter of fact, people came in from south, southern Europe, which was called Safara, or Safara. That was the name of Spain was called at the time. And many of them started getting sick because they were taking on to them something that was not given to them, something that was given to the priests and the Levites. And here they were taking on the role to the point that they're getting sick. If you read in 2nd King and 1st King, you see there, they were getting sick. They sent back to the leadership over there, said, send us the prophets, send us the priests so they can come and teach us how to worship Yahweh. Almost 200 years later, my brothers and my sisters, almost 200 years later, the southern kingdom were doing exactly what the northern kingdom were doing. And worse, they were taken into Babylon. And you know the story. As you read through the book of Daniel, you see. And here, my brothers and my sisters, the people started mingling, and the same thing happened where they sent people in. They sent people in to the southern kingdom and was supervising them and hurting people and people outside, foreigners. And you wonder how Israel became so much where in the land of Israel, where so many Gentile people. At one point, only the Canaanite people were around, which was our cousins. Okay? But now Israel was infiltrated with foreigners, Gentiles, leading and doing things that the Hebrew people, the Hebrew Israelite people, were called to do among themselves. But my brothers and my sisters, many people don't understand. That's the problem that we have in Israel right now with the fighting with the Palestinian people, they call them the people of Gaza and the Israeli people. They are two different group of people. The Israeli people are not the original Israelite people. They are Europeans who have been converted to Judaism. And so they come with their different beliefs. They come because, my brothers and sisters, Judaism, just like Christianity, it has so many different facets of belief. And when you put them together, they are not scriptural. They're not in the Torah. The Torah is, they use the Torah as a backup. The Torah is not the main teaching. The rabbinic teaching is the main teaching in Judaism. And my brothers and sisters, what the rabbinic teaching is commentaries. Rabbi so-and-so said, that Rabbi so-and-so said, that Rabbi so-and-so said, that Rabbi so, and when it comes down to it, my brothers and sisters, they're not him saying the thing that the first rabbi said. Commentaries. They took the law and they made commentaries on it and developed their own system of belief. When Yehoshua was on earth, he talks about the tradition of man. The tradition of man. You have the Mishnah and the Gemara. And all this come from the tradition of what people said, what the leaders said, and not what thus saith Yahuwah. We're talking about what Yahuwah teaches us through his prophets. Not through what man said, but through what Yehoshua said. So we see then that the origin of Judaism, it lies in the Bronze Age and amidst the polytheistic and ancient Semitic religions. And so significantly, specifically, it evolves out of polytheistic ancient Canaanite religion. Then he said it coexisting with the Babylonians. So with whatever they learn in Babylon, and they synchronize all these elements, my brothers and sisters, were synchronized. And the Babylonian belief, all of this come into the worship. Okay? The reason why the Israelite people, especially when you look at Daniel and and there are 3 Hebrew young men that were put in the fire, and we know that Daniel was put in the lion's den. Okay, the reason why they suffer so much is because they were not willing to follow the Babylonian religion and teaching. Okay? And all of that reflected in the prophetic books of the Hebrew Bible. Whatever they know about Yahweh and Yahuwah, I don't use the word Yahweh, sometimes I don't like to use the word Yahweh because it's Yahuwah or Elohim. Okay? And so whatever they learn, that's what they want to live. That's what they want to do. And so they rebel against it, and then they suffer. And when you rebel against something that is traditional and something that is out of order, you are going to suffer, my brothers and my sisters. You are going to suffer. So what I want to do is try to break it down into small increments where we can shed more light and that we can understand a little bit more. I'm not promising you that when I finish, you're going to learn everything. But I'm going to teach you what I know and what over the years. I got into trouble in the Bible college by trying to bring out truth that has not been taught in Christianity about who we are and about who Yahuwah is. My brothers and my sisters, I trust that as we continue, that you are going to be blessed, you're going to be edified, and I'm going to ask you, my brothers and my sisters, to bring your friend to listen to these studies, or encourage them to subscribe so that they can get it. you know. If they don't have time to come to your home to listen, they have their own. These are the days of technology, my brothers and sisters. They have computers and they have cell phones. And they can get on YouTube and they can see it and they can read it and they can understand. So I trust that you will help us by telling others so that we can keep moving on. And we want our people, and even the Gentile people, we want them to listen to this. The Jewish people, we want them to listen to this. Because many of them are not sure. They just said they are Jews, but they're not sure what they believe. And we want to match this. If you're going to believe in the Torah, you're going to believe in the Torah. Not rabbinic teaching. That is different. If rabbinic teaching is teaching you the Torah and not just man-made thoughts and man-made tradition, then, my brothers and sisters, we don't want man-made tradition. We want, the only tradition we know is the tradition of following the Torah. Following closely with the Torah. Bless you. And we're going to ask you to walk with the King and be a blessing, my brothers and my sisters. Shalom.